Okay, pile drivers in pile driver land, got the Piledriver 50 here from Hatsan, USA, and we're going to run this baby through some numbers. We'll do some low weight bullets, do the light side, and then later on in part 2 we'll do the heavy side. So we will do a lot of shooting, go through a lot of air, and get this baby lined up for you. So stick around, we're going to have some fun. So, as always, it's nicest to eliminate noise. So we're going to put on the old Donnie schlong. Donnie FL, I mean, schlongulator on the 50. And that should tone this BB down. Got my tanks filled up. Gee, Mr. Hollow Point, you sure have lots of lead. Yes, I do. And trust me, guys, this ain't cheap by a long shot. Just because I make it doesn't mean it's not an out-of-pocket expense. Now fellas, you know these lighter bullets are doing over 1,000 feet a second, okay? So it can get a little squirrely. So I don't really care if I'm hitting the bullseye. I'm just trying to see the pattern, because as you've seen in all the other videos, as you change bullet weights, you've got to readjust your scope. I don't want to do that for each individual bullet weight, okay? So I'm just going to do my best to get a grouping on each one and see how these lightweights work. So just understand that. Sometimes it's like you guys are, well, you're missing the target. Like, no, I'm not missing the target. I'm not set up for that target. I'm just trying to see where they group. Once I know where I'm grouping, you know, and for that bullet, then I can tighten it up. But at the moment, I just want to get a tight pattern. That is excellent. Now if I readjusted the scope a bit, I'd be over a bit, it'd look more impressive. But the fact is you got 3 almost touching holes, and that's all that I care about. Got 2,600 PSI left from 4,300. 3 shots, 225. The first 2 are touching holes, third's just a fraction over to the left. Like you said, it's excellent grouping. You know, I can readjust the scope for that, you know, and then the next group would be perfect, but why? $255. Okay, 255. So I'm moving the camera, guys, just so it looks different. So it's not the same old boring point of view. I got some additional batteries for the camera, so hopefully it's not going to crap out. I don't really like using the GoPro for regular stuff. I like it for the close-up. You see my cheater's out our table here. .270 grain. The 310 Spitzer. That was a nice group. A little to the left, but a nice group. That's the best group yet. That was low. Okay, so it's 1 low, 2 center, 3 low. Well, that's not the greatest. You see, that laser won't stay settled either. So, I can't really do this without the shadow getting in the way. So, what we did today was the 225, 255, 270, the 310 Spitzer, the 345 hollow point, the 350 solid, the 350 hollow point. Okay, this was our light run. And as always, this 345 was just balls on, and the 225 was pretty hot too. The rest were mediocre. The 310 Spitzer wasn't too bad a couple of times. Again, needs more practice, but with this thing screaming the way it is, you need to practice. Okay, gentlemen, so today we've shot a ton of lead with the suppressor, without the suppressor. Big difference because of the way the air is stripped off, the way the turbulence inside the suppressor is. You really need to figure out, are you going to shoot with it or without it? Because it's a difference, a night and day on where the bullet is going to end up. I'm not saying either one is bad or either one is good. It's up to you. Since I shoot suppressed 99% of the time, I do all my practice with it on. But if you take it off, put it back, index your suppressor before you take it off. Because when I put it back on, I had it flipped and the bullets were literally hitting almost 2 feet to the left and 2 feet down from where I was aiming. When I rotated it, it brought it right back up to the bullseye that I had at the beginning of our session. Air suppressors are very fussy. The air needs to be stripped off the back of the bullet as it starts to enter into the suppressor. It has to be stripped first, if what I'm reading is correct. Otherwise, that turbulence in there, that air gets ahead of the bullet, it will start playing with accuracy. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to shoot with a suppressor, mark it, index it, use a Sharpie, make sure it's always in the same position when you sight everything in. Of course, if you're not going to use it, it doesn't make a difference. But you need to know that, especially if you're taking it off, putting it on, taking it off. Little couple thousandths of an inch up or down, left or right can totally change your bullet flight. And the further you get from the target, the further your flight pattern is going to change. So always make sure everything is dead set the same way every single time. I can't stress that enough. So when I was shooting without the suppressor, of course the groups were high because I had this slightly sighted in for a heavier round. So I don't care how high they're going. I'm just trying to see if they're going to hold a group. Several of the slugs work great without the suppressor. A couple work better with the suppressor. The 225 was really nice. The 245 is always nice. And the 310 Spitzer seemed to be really good. The 255 and 270 seem to have a mind of their own. And the 350 solid seem to walk a bit versus the 350 hollow point. Again, not every bullet I make works in every single gun, okay? That's why you test and you test and you test. If you're only shooting 25 yards and under, it doesn't make a difference what you stick in your barrel. You're going to hit your mark. But when you get out to a distance, that's where it makes the difference. And I will not sell you something if I don't think it's going to work with that particular gun. So for lightweight at the moment, I'm liking the 225 and the 345 are my two hotties. The rest, if you want them, you can buy them, but they're not going to be as good as the two that I recommend. So with the Hatson Piledriver 50 lightweight bullet test at 60 yards, I think we've done pretty good. Done a lot of experimenting, like I said, with and without the suppressor. And I'm comfortable with the several that we've discovered. So 4,300 PSI fill, 3 shots, the old ATN, lead sled, plastic table, camera, targets. It's all the same thing every time. So next week we'll get out and we'll do the heavier bullets and see how those do. So if you got any questions, feel free to email, call, contact Hatson. Say thank you Cecil, thank you Hatson USA, thank you for the Piledriver. I'm loving it. It's a great gun so far. I've had 0 issues with it, functioning, shooting, filling, 0 problems so far out of the box, and that's the way I like it. So I'm gonna head in. Thank you so much. Keep watching for the next video.